What? What's that? Is that Star Wars music we hear? Yes, it is, because we have more Star Wars content to talk about. What is up, everybody? Kade Lee and Jerrod Arkins coming at you from the Point of View podcast, where everything we tell you is true
from a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view. Thank you, Obi-Wan. We're finally back in your universe, bro. It's great to be talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. Once again, I'm Kade, super stoked to be here. He's Jerrod, he's pissed off, and we're ready to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Right, buddy?
Oh, man. Which, two things. First off, I think you put the wrong song at the beginning of this.
No. Jerrod, no, we're not talking about, no. We're not talking.
Okay, fine, I won't.
If you bring up that Connect game that needs to be burned at the depths of Gehenna, I swear, do not bring up that game.
Oh, I love it so much, though.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Microsoft, you're the worst for releasing this game. By the way, way back when. It's that stupid Connect Star Wars game that has you dance with Han Solo to the stupidest song ever. Makes you want to gouge your ears out with a fork.
Cover, or parody.
Oh, man.
Oh, I love it so much.
Oh, it makes my blood boil.
And second,
Second.
I forgot what I was going to say because of that.
We're talking about Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
The drama, controversy, backlash that surrounds this film is astounding.
It's real big.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, take us into it, man.
First off, I just have to start by talking about the production of this movie. Just the whole cycle of everything. So, Lord and Miller, they were originally hired as the directors for this movie, the guys who did the Lego movie, and they both got fired because they...
Did we ever know why? What were you about to say?
Were basically not shooting the movie.
They were just lazy?
They were doing something else. They were not filming what was on the script. So they essentially were not doing their jobs. But yeah, then they bring in Ron Howard, the Kasdans, obviously. Helped with the directorial effort a bit, finishing this movie. And, just in all that, the budget just absolutely skyrocketed. I think this is the most expensive Star Wars movie that there's ever been.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's like $250 million, which I'm pretty sure that's higher than...
Have they even made that back yet?
No, and they will.
The first 2 weeks, I think, is $170 million.
Yeah, and
they'll make it, I know.
Yeah, I think at this point...
I'm going to give them more money, because I love the movie.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think at this point, as of...
You don't agree with me. He doesn't even agree.
Look, I have complicated thoughts about this movie.
Is that what your status is with this movie?
It's
not
complicated.
Single, married. It's complicated.
It's very complicated.
It's very complicated.
It's made like $200 million so far.
Now? Okay.
And if you kind of look at comparable movies,
such as
Fast and Furious, movies that have been released on Memorial Day weekend.
We talked about this
budget.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at something
off podcast, we talked about it. Yeah.
Probably what it's gonna definitely fall short of $1 billion. But if you look at Furious 6, maybe
spin-offs are always gonna fall short of 8 figures. 7.
Rogue One didn't. Rogue One made $1 billion.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow.
Rogue One was extremely profitable, and I think that was what they thought.
No, $1 billion is 10 figures. $1 billion is 10 figures,
$1
isn't
billion
it?
Is
9 zeros?
to do math.
Crap,
it's 9.
I forgot you cannot do math on the air. My bad.
Yeah, no,
just
it's good.
ignore that.
It's good. 9 figures. No, 10 figures. Yeah, 10 figures.
It's 10 figures.
It is 10 figures.
9 zeros.
It's 9 zeros. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the potential of this movie is sort of like Furious 6 being the most that it can make, and that made $750 million. And then the absolute floor, I'd have to say at this point, is something like an X-Men Apocalypse, which made about $550. So it's gonna fall somewhere in that range, which is not as much as they hoped that they were gonna make.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know why they're not gonna make as much as they made?
Because Ocean's 8's coming out next week.
That looks good, by the way.
Yeah, that actually could be pretty good. I'm kind of excited for that.
That cast is so stacked.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm following Kate Blanchett like a lot now because of how great she was as Hela.
Yeah, she was real good
in Thor.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know why this movie is not going to make what they want it to make?
Why?
Because of Kathleen Kennedy.
And
she's a monster.
I think it's more complicated than that, personally.
Go to the top. What's the problem? You want you have a problem with your company? Show me who your leadership is.
Bob Iger. There you go.
Okay, but he's not doing anything.
That's true. Yeah,
he's not in front of the press. He's not releasing these asinine statements about the Force favoring, one person over the other type of thing. Is
that what she actually said?
Dude, remember the Force is female movement?
I haven't actually been paying attention.
And we're not going to talk about gender equality or anything like that. That's not the point of what I'm bringing up. The point I'm bringing up is Kathleen Kennedy is pushing all these personal agendas into Star Wars. And dude, Star Wars is not meant for that.
Yeah,
it's not meant to not be for that. But dude, this is a galaxy far, far away that has stories that are input into this galaxy that are complicated by itself. You don't need to add all these other ridiculous outlets, inlets of these subtopics that are relevant in our world, but not in a totally different galaxy. It makes me so angry because you see it happening. You saw it start to happen with The Force Awakens, and then The Last Jedi, it was thrown in our face. And then with Solo, it's not that it was thrown in our face, but she's clearly influenced a lot of these decisions that caused the turmoil that there was for this film and the amount of reshoots they had to do, the changing of directors. I mean, I wonder why they weren't filming what was on the script, those first two directors that you first mentioned.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to think that that's just because they are comedy guys that were trying to do a comedy type of thing when that was clearly not what this movie was, and we'll talk more about the script later.
Than that.
I can't imagine it is, though. Like, I mean, maybe,
okay.
But
maybe I'm dead wrong and dead off.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I'm kind of ticked.
And look, here's my thing about it. I think that the issue with what they're doing is that they are they're addressing it, and that is making a big deal out of it.
Yeah, and again, like we've said before, this is not ever going to be a podcast where, I mean, we don't have political views. We're politically neutral people, especially on our podcast. So it's not about that. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that why? I mean, why does that matter in these awesome Star Wars movies that have nothing to do with this stuff? I mean,
and that's what I was kind of getting to. I think that they're going out of their way. Like, it's fine to just make the movie and, put whatever, messages that you want to in it. That's absolutely fine. That won't bother me. I think that when you go out of your way to address these things in the media, that's where the mistakes it creates issues. And obviously there are some people that are, they're bad people and they have negative views of women. That is a fact.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, you never want. I mean, that stuff is awful.
Yeah, but they're addressing things that should not
be addressed.
You should just leave it where it is. Just make the movie, release the movie, and then you don't have to come out and make a statement afterwards about it. And yeah, giving interviews with the Huffington Post causes more problems than good. Yeah. It doesn't help you at all. And you know what? It's kind of along the topic. This is kind of just jumping into the middle of the movie, and then we'll jump back. But talking about like the robot revolution type of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
and my thing about that is I didn't even have so. I
thought it was funny and totally random.
It was. And look, as a black person, I will say this. I think that sometimes it can come off as callous to use robots as an allegory for slavery.
Sure.
Using a machine. And I think that is ultimately where the bigger issue comes in. And I think that that's not necessarily what people are talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
That's a great point.
they've done some stuff.
Yeah. So that, we talked about the production a little bit, and the lack thereof, really.
Yeah.
I mean the
Oh,
ping
boy.
ponging of production.
You know what? It's amazing that this movie was even watchable.
I know.
Considering
Dude,
all
they did
things.
almost get axed like 3 times.
Did it?
I
I didn't hear
thought,
about that.
or at least postponed. I mean, goodness gracious.
Maybe they should have
And the-
postponed it.
I-
I think this movie came out 6 months too soon.
Why?
It would have made more money in December. And it also, there's, I'm not going to say Star Wars fatigue, but this is too soon after
We
The
just
Last Jedi.
saw that in the video we watched.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we recorded.
Yeah, and
it's
that-
totally true. You and especially with the bitterness there is towards Star Wars after The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because of how divisive that film is, and how I hate it. Now the reasons that I don't like it are not the common reasons, which we've talked about already.
And I don't hate it. I still think it's fine. I still like it.
But there's such a divide. It's not like people were thirsty for Star Wars right now.
No, not
They're
at
not.
all. Yeah.
They're not.
And people were especially not thirsty to see, a Han Solo movie starring
Alden
Ehrenreich, who was fine in
Who?
this.
Yes, and
but-
I want to get to that because
Yeah.
I think he delivered.
He did.
He's in a pretty dang impossible situation.
Oh, there
Hey,
was-
go play the
yeah.
greatest smuggler of all time.
Exactly.
Oh, and by the way, here's your script.
Yeah, here's the most iconic role in cinematic
Yeah.
history.
Oh, and by the way, Harrison Ford's not going to help you because he doesn't feel like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, he was definitely in a pretty bad situation.
and I think he delivered.
I thought he did too. Yeah.
I mean, my wife and I were talking about that. It's like you gave him like pretty much a no-win situation, and he didn't lose.
No, he didn't. I don't think he.
Had a great supporting cast, I think.
I'll get into that. Actually, no. We'll just talk about the cast right now.
Let's do it.
Most of them, I think, delivered very decent performances.
Woody Harrelson is consistently an awesome actor.
Woody Harrelson was the best one, in my personal opinion.
I loved Tobias. I loved Toby.
Yeah, and I like that character overall.
And when he like betrayed, quote unquote, Han
Yeah.
Solo, I was like the least bit surprised.
Oh no, I
we'd
wasn't either.
heard this movie was going to be like a western,
And it was.
so I was like, oh, shocker.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, speaking of Western, Paul Bettany in this movie.
Okay, was that weird seeing him as a villain?
I was going to say, I think he had no idea what this movie was.
Oh, really?
Because he wasn't even originally part of the cast
Yeah. When did they add him?
during the reshoots. It was originally Michael K. Williams in that role, who was, I guess, supposed to have a mountain lion head or something stupid like that.
Who is that?
Michael K. Williams. He was like an actor in like The Wire, but you've probably seen him in some other things.
Oh, The
but
Wire.
he-
I've not watched The Wire, but I know what it is.
Yeah, he was in that, and he was originally supposed to be the mob boss, the Drayden Voss character. I don't know if the name was different or what, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. And they brought in Paul Bettany during the reshoots. Clearly, he was probably on set for like a week because
All
every
of his
single one of
scenes
his
are in the
scenes
yacht.
are filmed
In the
on
yacht.
the yacht in one location, basically. Maybe the one when he goes down, like, and they're having like the party or whatever.
I thought he was great.
I thought he was real hacky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't like him?
I didn't like him.
Why?
He was just.
It was weird seeing Vision in Star Wars. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
But
it was a really over the top performance in a movie that in a movie that was a space western. I don't think it called for it. He just felt weirdly out of place
I thought the whole
to me
yacht
throughout
thing
the
felt out of
entire
place.
thing. And I could see that. I mean,
The whole organization of Crimson Dawn felt random as heck.
aesthetically, it did not fit in.
It didn't work.
with the movie. Yeah, I mean, I like Paul Bettany a lot, but boy, in this movie, he was just. I don't even know. He was just like this cackling
And the
lunatic.
the ship looked like a Photoshop stretched toaster.
It looked bad.
It was
It was
ugly.
a bad looking ship. I'll agree with you on that
It was
one.
so ugly.
Yeah. I guess otherwise, There was Childish Gambino, who I think is getting a lot of credit.
Donald Glover was awesome.
I think he's getting a lot of credit for delivering a bog standard performance.
Are you?
I think, honestly, I get that people love him right now. I get that he's culturally important at the moment. I don't.
Why do you think he wasn't good as Lando?
That good of a job. He didn't feel very Lando to me. And I mean, obviously he's not going to just do an impression of Billy D. Williams.
Right.
He's not going to go out there and, he's not going to do the voice or anything like that.
You better be careful, Solo.
Yeah. I mean, he just didn't feel so much like Lando Calrissian to me. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't buy it with him. He was fine. I thought that what he did was okay. But I think that he's getting way too much credit for what he did in this movie. I honestly think so. You're so shocked. You're so shocked.
Dude, his was the best performance. Alden Ehrenreich had this weird voice. Sounds like this. Wait, Chewie, what are you doing? It was like, Alden Ehrenreich.
He sounds nothing like.
He sounds nothing like Han. First of all,
yeah, he doesn't.
Chewie was perft. Spot on Chewbacca.
He did a good job.
I feel like they just took spots or cuts of his audio from other films, honestly, because it sounded really perfect.
They could have done something like that. They could have done something with the editing.
Dude, Lando had the best. Had the best. The best of the performance. My favorite line. Everything you've heard about me is true.
See,
that's totally Lando. You cannot look at me and say it's not Lando.
He was so Donald Glover, though.
It was not. It was not Donald Glover. It was not Donald Glover.
See, I felt like he was just Donald Glover in a cape. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me who sees that. But I thought he was very like Troy Barnes in like a paintball episode, like in a paintball episode of Community. Maybe,
dude, you're just associating. You're just associating him because of other roles he's had.
It could be, and I hate.
What are you gonna call? You're gonna call Tobias Beckett Hamish Everdeen?
I actually
was
about to.
Oh my god!
You
cannot be serious. You cannot be serious.
I mean, he was the old mentor, No,
not Hamish Everdeen. I'm sorry, Hamish
Abernathy.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mixed the names.
I don't know. He just didn't really do it for me in this, and I get that he's done so much great stuff, but this was just fine. It was just fine, and I feel like people are saying that he's the best part of the movie, but I honestly thought he was just fine.
Kashyyykian moof milker.
And I don't know. I guess there's Emilia Clarke. She was there too.
Okay, sorry. Kira Carson, the most pointless character ever.
They underutilized her.
Okay, yes. Because the way her character was... I mean, okay. I get how her character was important from the standpoint of that's how Han met Chewie, because he finally got back to Corellia.
Yes. And there also is supposed to be
still.
it's supposed to be Han gets his heart broken. That's why he's a ladies' man the way he is. They didn't portray it very well.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And I think that
but
was
Kira
something...
Carson did leave to one of the greatest cameos in Star Wars history.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I think that was actually something that they were kind of gunning for in the sequel that they clearly wanted to make at the end of this movie, but
are they going to
not ever get a chance to.
I hope they do.
Judging by I hope that they do too. I would watch another one.
Are you kidding me?
Even though I know I'm being negative about this and I sound negative, I actually did enjoy this movie and I would watch another one if they made it.
Totally. Well, I just want to see him go to Tatooine and have that first interaction with
Jabba.
With Jabba.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because that would set up so much backstory for A New Hope.
Yeah, just have him smuggling I mean, they could, even if they absolutely wanted to, just do a direct, New Hope lead up, have him dump the cargo or whatever.
And one other thing I appreciate about this film too is they showed how the Falcon got so trashed.
Oh yeah, he destroyed that thing.
Because he bounced it.
It took him 5 minutes, and he just wrecked the ship.
It was crazy. Well, because they went outside the path that Kessel. I mean,
the Kessel run. Yeah,
which was so awesome.
It was a good scene. Yeah.
So awesome. That is an Imperial blockade.
Yeah, it was a real nice space Cthulhu that they had there. That was a fantastic scene. Okay. I have more stuff to talk about
Yeah,
with this, though.
what else? Come on.
I guess I'll just
Let's hash this out.
Okay, I just want to give my general thoughts about this movie and why.
Shoot.
Even though I enjoyed it, I had a good time. I don't think it was that good or even as good as it could have been. So I'll just kind of like run through a list of reasons here. So
Okay, yeah.
I think like the pacing wasn't good.
Okay, so read them off. I'm just gonna tell you agree or disagree.
Okay.
Ready? Okay, pacing wasn't good.
Bad pacing.
Agree.
I think it kind of played like a Han Solo biopic.
Agree.
I think it had all the same problems as Rogue One.
Disagree.
Every character is kind of an archetype.
To be honest, I don't know what the heck that word means.
Just like a now I don't even know what it means. Like
Pointless?
wow, I'm totally blanking.
Pointless characters?
No, not pointless, but like how do I even exactly what you expect them to be?
Oh,
they are
okay, agree.
Like Han Solo is like just this is just an example, but Han Solo is the rogue. You know, Kira is the girlfriend. Tobias is the mentor.
Okay.
Paul Bettany is the villain. It's
Okay.
just like a
There's no
like
surprises.
yes, it's a classic predictable character basically.
Okay, that's fair.
What else? And I don't think the script was that good.
Oh.
Even though the script was this is supposed to be the
Disagree.
best Star Wars script.
Disagree.
I don't think it was that good, honestly.
I agree with
Okay.
with your point on. I just want to talk about that last one
Okay.
because we're gonna talk about this cameo right now.
Okay,
We're
let's
gonna
talk
this.
about the
dude
the cameo.
Oh my goodness, the script is amazing. Now I will.
man.
The script was amazing. The way they shot it and paced this movie was not good.
The pacing was all over the place in this
But
movie.
dude, oh
But
my,
I think
oh my
that's-
goodness, come
okay.
on! The script had one of the greatest cameos ever at the end.
I don't think that was an original part of the script, though.
I
That's
don't
the
care.
thing.
I don't care. It was in the movie as part of the script. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
I guess.
I was so happy. That character, Maul.
Okay.
Do you know how many people?
Yeah, let's talk about Maul right now
Do
because
you
I
know
really want to get
how
into this.
many people have wanted him back on the screen
No.
somehow?
I wanted him back too.
And there may be some hope to actually get him doing something.
Yeah,
after this movie.
And I hate this cameo for a very specific reason.
Why do you hate the
and
cameo?
they could fix this,
Movie
and
fights.
I could turn around and be like, okay, this is great.
We're coming at you, screen junkies. Movie
movie
fights.
fights.
Let's go.
I don't like this cameo because spoiler alert, Darth Maul is already dead in Rebels.
This movie takes place before he's dead in
Yes,
Rebels.
but here's the reason for it, because the movie that, if they are going to use Darth Maul in a live-action movie, the movie that I want them to make is an Obi-Wan movie where, you know, Darth Maul comes to Tatooine, and I don't know, maybe, like, he comes to Tatooine to try and kill Obi-Wan, and maybe, like, he finds out about baby Luke Skywalker, so then he's trying to kill baby Luke Skywalker or something like that. And then you get that fight between Han and Obi-Wan, and that's where I want
Maul and
that
Obi-Wan.
confrontation to take place, in a live-action movie, not...
Between Maul and Obi-Wan?
Yeah, between Maul and Obi-Wan.
Okay, so you
Not
but,
on
but
the-
you hate this because of the decision that Dave Filoni made to kill Maul in a kids show.
Yes.
Okay,
If-
I agree with that.
If they
And the way he killed him was so bullcrap.
Yeah, exactly. And if they overwrite that with a movie and they just say, okay, we're going to ignore Rebels entirely, or at least
You
that
can't.
one episode.
Rebels is canon. You can't.
I know it's canon, and you can't, and that's why I don't like this.
I like
Because
it though
this
because
is-
here's the thing: we don't need Maul in the Obi-Wan movie. We don't.
I disagree, but
We don't because I think they should have this next movie show somehow give a backstory, but also continue a story of how the heck Maul became the head of Crimson Dawn. Is it from knowing them on Mandalore somehow? Mm-hmm. Because Crimson Dawn, they weren't on Mandalore, were they? In the Clone Wars?
I don't remember.
What organization was that? Of those Mandalorian armored
wasn't that-
fools with Pre Vizsla?
Wasn't that just like the... Weren't they just like the new Mandalorians or whatever?
Yeah,
or
I
not
forget
the
the
new
name. I don't think it's
Yeah,
Crimson
something
Dawn.
like that.
But regardless, I want to show put Maul in power.
Oh.
Because how did he get that position? That's what I want to
Yeah.
know. We don't need him in we don't need him in the Obi-Wan movie. Obi-Wan, I think Obi-Wan should have another fight between Vader and himself. Because it would fit. It would fit because remember, Darth Vader says to him, "Last time I saw you, I was but a learner." That doesn't mean he was still he was Anakin. It could have been Vader, but he's still an apprentice. You don't need Maul. You don't need Maul
because I mean, well, what are they gonna do? Like, how would they have another confrontation between Vader and Obi-Wan? Are you gonna have Obi-Wan leave Tatooine or something like that?
No, Vader come to Tatooine to look for Luke.
Okay, he comes to Tatooine to look for Luke.
Or he senses Obi-Wan's presence and goes to find him.
That just makes Vader look like an idiot, though, basically.
Kind of was.
Yeah, but I mean...
Look at Rebels.
Kind
of was.
They don't need to point it out like that much. Like, if he goes to Tatooine, he fights Obi-Wan,
Vader was the Emperor's pet.
What's preventing him from sending, 1,000 Star Destroyers at Tatooine? And just glassing the planet.
Wouldn't let him.
Why not? The Emperor seems to not...
The Emperor never let Vader play onto his indulgences.
Yes, but the Emperor understands the importance of wiping out the Jedi. That was the point of Order 66. And if there are Jedi that are still alive...
You don't think he wouldn't want Anakin to use that rage to kill Obi-Wan himself?
I mean, I'm sure he would. But if Darth Vader was to fail, if Anakin was to fail, I think that there would be nothing to hold back Palpatine from just destroying the planet if he wanted to just ensure that he got rid of all the Jedi. I can't see how they can have another confrontation between Episode 3 and Episode 4 in a live-action movie that would make any sense whatsoever.
Maybe they did destroy Tatooine. Maybe they do.
Yeah, but then...
Because they leave Tatooine, they never go back.
Yeah, but...
In the original trilogy.
Yeah, they do. Episode 6.
He goes back to Tatooine? You're right. I'm sorry. Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I just can't see a way that they could make that work.
No, my bad.
I don't know. I just would have preferred to see Maul. And if they're going to bring Maul into this, quote-unquote Star Wars cinematic universe, I think that they need a logical conclusion to that character's story arc, a.k.a. him dying, probably at the hands of Obi-Wan, and Rebels has ruined that.
Or he could just beat him.
He could just beat him.
And not kill him.
He could.
Why not?
But then where does he go? And I feel like people will
that's
still
where it could lead
ask
up.
That
that's
question.
where it could lead up because Maul is super injured when he meets Kanan.
Okay.
When he meets Kanan and Ezra, he's like limping.
Yeah.
When he's going with Ezra, teaching him through that Sith holocron.
Mm-hmm.
When they're on Malachor.
Okay.
I think they're on Malachor.
Yeah, I have it.
Episode.
Okay.
Yeah, it's... Man, they put themselves in such a pigeonhole.
That's exactly what I'm saying, is I feel like there is something so much better that they could have done, but they were short-sighted about it. And I mean, obviously this cameo was not an original part of the film.
How do we know that?
Well, you hear like
we don't know that.
Ron Howard has said in an interview like about how he lobbied hard for like this cameo, and he wasn't brought in until after. Obviously, that could be garbage or something because I'm sure that Ron Howard doesn't even know who Darth Maul is. But yeah, I just feel like this is the first big mistake I think that they've made.
See, I disagree that it's a big mistake, but I agree that it is complicated. Mm-hmm. Now, what else you got?
Oh man, so much. Okay. Go back to the pacing of this movie really quick.
Yeah.
And we can kind of also touch on the script too. This movie's too fast at the beginning and the end.
It is too fast.
And actually,
nothing resonates with you at the end.
No,
you're right. It's too quick.
He just gets the Falcon and then he's gone. And that's
shoots Toby, gets the Falcon, gone.
Yeah, it's a real wonky ending, and then he like sees Kira flying off. It's
in the yacht, yeah.
It's not a good ending, I think, in my opinion. And I another thing about this, I feel like they could have just made 2 movies with the plot that they had.
Sure, stretch it out.
Yeah. I feel like that would have been better. Like, make that train sequence.
That was cool.
That was fantastic. That was
awesome.
probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have actually been the highlight of this movie. Like, that could have been maybe not your main action sequence, but like your second to last action sequence.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you just did that, you just did more of Han Solo on Corellia. More of Han Solo.
I did want to see
in
more
the
of
Imperial
Corellia.
military.
I wanted to see more of Corellia.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more of
because
Corellia
I think
too.
you know what they took that out of Legends.
Yeah.
Like Corellia was like an overrun Imperial planet,
Yeah, and they've changed it a bit,
which is
but-
cool.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, they changed it a bit, but I thought it was cool too. They made the Empire like actually have like an army.
yeah,
Like it was interesting. They had like infantry, not
yeah.
just stormtroopers.
And I would have liked to see more of that.
yeah, that was.
I thought that
interesting.
was there was a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
A lot of them weren't
That was
expanded
smart.
on as much as I would have liked, and I get that
But it's
people
also
would have.
okay. What screen time would you have for that though? I mean, why would you have an adventure of Han Solo in the infantry for the Empire when that's not pertinent to his story at all?
That's why I feel like this should have just been split into 2 movies. I feel like you could have. I feel like there was something interesting that you could have done. That you could have done with that. Done with him as an Imperial soldier.
Sure.
Maybe, and have more time in particular with him and Tobias. Have Tobias actually be more of a mentor rather than a dude who just throws him a gun.
He was taken out of the comics too, Tobias Beckett, out of the original Star
was
Wars
he?
comics stories. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember if he goes the same route and betrays Han in the end, but he's
Okay.
an actual mentor to Han Solo in an
And-
old non-canon novel,
Oh, okay.
like
Yeah,
in the
I've never
90s, I think.
90s novel. Oh, was it like that Han Solo trilogy?
It might
that I've
have been.
never
I
read?
don't remember, but it might have been.
Okay. Okay. Was that the actual character's name? Tobias Beckett? Or was it something else?
I might have been something else.
Okay. Like they took that idea because I know
Yes,
that
they
there
took the
is,
idea
like,
of that
a thing,
mentor.
like-
They took the idea of that mentor.
yeah, and I know that they took a lot of stuff from those Han Solo
And
books
why did they
and
give
put
him
it
such
in
a
this
white
movie.
bread name?
Tobias
Beckett.
It's not great. It's not even really a Star Wars name. It's just a dude.
And then Dryden Voss. It sounds like the name of a cologne.
Boss. Yeah. Dryden Voss. Yeah, it kind of does a little bit.
He should have been in one of those commercials where it's the giant crashing wave and then just a dude staring at the camera.
Dryden Voss.
Yes! It's
something
exactly
like
what
that.
it sounds like. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. What other things did I say about? I think this movie had. Okay. This is kind of another script thing. It was basically just a Han Solo biopic, more than something with a coherent plot.
But it was okay, this was an origin story more than Rogue One was, though.
I get that.
So you
but
gotta keep that in mind.
Yes, but I don't think that that's the most. And maybe origin.
But dude, why did they tell the
stories-
story? They
Maybe
told
I'm
the
just
story to
tired
tell
of
us who Han Solo was.
Exactly.
They made Rogue One to tell us how they got the Death Star plans.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they blew up every character at the end.
Yeah,
They don't matter.
That's true. They don't.
Those characters don't
yeah.
matter.
And
Not
maybe
at all.
that's the issue. Like with just this movie conceptually, that it was who is Han Solo, and that was the big question of this movie: who's Han Solo, and
Yeah.
how do we not mess up Han Solo?
I thought there was there not enough Han and Chewie interaction?
I would say that there weren't enough character moments in this entire movie. Just
Because they are like brothers
yeah,
on Tatooine, and maybe over time they go on all those excursions together and get closer and closer as captain and first mate.
you don't get that sense.
You don't get that sense. I mean, yeah, you get the sense they're kind of okay. They're buds, right? And
Yeah.
he rescues him from Corellia, which is really funny. I thought that was
Oh,
cool. He
yeah.
starts speaking Kashyyykian.
Oh, what's it called?
Han,
Shirawuk.
thank you. Sure,
Yeah.
he starts speaking that like that.
That was pretty good.
funny.
Yeah.
I speak a little.
Oh,
He's
man.
like sounds so bad.
Sounded terrible.
He's like, none of us can do the Chewbacca impersonation or even Alden Ehrenreich's impersonation of speaking that. But
Oh yeah.
you get the gist, everybody. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Okay. I also kind of want to say, because I said like this movie has all the same problems as Rogue One, and I've kind of already touched on some of them, like the pacing.
Yeah,
It's a lot of planet hopping. It's good action, but there's really no character moments.
there wasn't
do you
enough
kind of-
Empire.
There wasn't enough Empire.
No.
Okay.
I think they shouldn't have
could see
gone.
that.
Personally, they shouldn't have gone that route of those random no-name gangs. I think what would have been more interesting is that it was like a corrupt Imperial agent.
It could have. Yeah, it could
It
have.
just would have added this kind of element to it, but that might just be dumb. Who knows?
And maybe like that's something.
I don't know, just like Enfys Nest. I mean, no one's ever going to remember them.
Nest. Yeah.
It's a band of
I don't even
20-year-old
remember
kids.
Enfys Nest. Yeah.
It's just a band of kids.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's... I don't know. I mean, I feel like the gang stuff kind of worked to a certain extent. Yeah, more Empire definitely would have been interesting, though, and that's actually kind of why I say that they should have expanded on that thing where he's just an Imperial soldier.
Yeah.
I think that would have been just a good place to
that
take
would
it.
have fit.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
For
everyone listening, we're just going down Jerrod's like list that he like made while throwing his phone in the air out of frustration when he watched this film.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've gone through the full gamut of emotions with this movie.
The first text I get from this guy after he watches the movie, I have a massive problem with this film.
It was
so funny.
I think I just said the cameo.
It was
the
cameo, but I'm generalizing for the purpose of making it funny.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I can't understand why this was supposed to be the best Star Wars script.
So who said that?
That's like what all the reports have said. That like
I heard it was a great script. I didn't hear it was the best script.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that it was supposed to be the best Star Wars script. And then I watched this movie looking for a script that was particularly great, and it wasn't. It was, it was a regular Star Wars script. It was fine. This entire movie was fine. Everything in it is serviceable. And I think it's just, if you're going to go to the theater, have a fun time with a, summer sci-fi action movie.
Yeah.
This movie is
this
that.
movie will do fine. Credits will do fine.
It just should be so much. Yeah, credits will do fine. I just think it should be so much better than what it is.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I feel about it.
Well, look to the leadership.
Yeah. No, that's fair, but
look to the studio. Look to the idiots who are running Lucasfilm.
Yeah, it's also. I mean, I have such mixed feelings about this because, on the one hand, I'm like, this movie's not particularly good. Like, it's not really funny or interesting or like clever at all. But then on the other hand, I'm like, how is this thing even watchable? Because it shouldn't be. This should have been a train wreck. But it was, and maybe that's why I'm disappointed.
Because you were expecting a train wreck,
but
it wasn't a train wreck?
I was expecting something great,
but it wasn't
or
great.
a train wreck.
But it wasn't bad.
And
it was right in the middle.
Neither.
It was right in the middle.
I got the most...
You go and do something and totally redeem yourself.
Yeah. The most quintessentially average movie that I have seen in a long time.
Quintessentially average?
This... oh, man.
Jerrod's sitting here like a critic. Allow me to tell you fans, meager fans, something. This movie was unexceptionally exceptional.
No, that's basically it, though. Like, it's just fine. So much of this movie, I'm thinking about everything. It's okay.
It's okay.
And I can't say anything more than that. I would never call this movie bad. I would never call this movie great.
I will say this. I'm not, like, itching to see it again right now.
I'm not either.
Not that I don't want to. It's just like,
Yeah, it's just...
Like, if someone texted me, like, hey, you want to go see it?
I'd be like...
Yeah, I'll go. Well, all right.
I'd be
or
like...
Jerrod will throw his phone at the TV.
I'd probably be like, no, I don't have that much extra money to spend on another Han Solo ticket.
Jerrod would be like, no, because I hate everyone.
I hate everyone. Exactly.
I hate you, Ron Howard. I hate you, script. I hate you, Darth Maul cameo.
And that's the thing.
I hate you, Woody Harrelson. I hate you, Donald Glover. I hate you, Alden Ehrenreich. I hate you, Chewbacca.
And that's the thing is, I love Ron Howard. Like, he usually makes good movies, and the pacing in his movies are his usual movie. Can't talk anymore.
That guy sounds like somebody who should like be my accountant.
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Yeah. I could
Or
kinda see that.
or my insurance agent.
Exactly. And the movies that he makes usually have good pacing. That's usually one of the strengths of his movies. They usually have good character moments normally. This movie didn't have that. And that's why I have to think it's the script's fault, because the script didn't put those things in. And obviously something happened to this script at some point. Through the reshoots, through, studio interference, through whatever. Something obviously did happen to this script, because what we got on screen, I'm sure, is not the original version that Lawrence and John Kasdan wrote. But
I think we're saved from a terrible script that Kasdan's wrote.
Oh, I disagree completely. I think probably
John Kasdan, come on.
But they've done good stuff in the past, though.
That guy's a tool.
They've done good stuff in the past, though. Good Star Wars stuff in the past.
What'd they do?
Lawrence Kasdan was the one who wrote Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I think
The greatest sequel of all time.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So I don't think that the script is the original script was probably better than what we got, whatever the final draft of this thing was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, I don't trust the younger Kasdan.
That's totally fine too. And I mean, I haven't seen a bunch of
I
his
would
stuff,
trust.
so.
It should have been Lawrence by himself, not his kid.
Yeah, and I mean,
because Lawrence worked with the original Han. He knew that character. He crafted that character beautifully.
That's true.
In Empire.
Yeah.
Didn't he drop out of Return of the Jedi?
I believe so.
Or was it the producer, not him?
No, I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't think he penned the script. I don't think he had at least the screenplay for Return of the Jedi. I'm 98% sure. I mean, I could look it up. I do have a phone. We have access to this technology.
We have access to the interwebs.
But I don't think he did.
Okay. Man, this was exhausting.
It really was. That's the thing, is I went from being, this movie's pretty good, to just being, confused about this whole thing.
Conflicted.
Yeah, conflicted.
I sense the conflict.
Yeah, and then I was angry, and now I'm just exhausted. I just don't know.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate.
Hate leads to suffering. Okay, so he wrote...
In front of a screen.
Here's what he's written.
At Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, man. Okay, so he wrote The Force Awakens. He wrote...
I'm sure The Force Awakens got vetoed. That was not his not his final product on screen. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that was his final product.
Yeah,
the concept art had Luke Skywalker looking almost like Ram Koda, which would have been sick.
That would have been.
And there was actual Jedi surviving. Mm-hmm. There was actually existing Jedi. There's no way he threw that out the door.
Yeah,
There's
and I mean,
no way.
End of the day, the movie that you get
and
on
the Jedi,
screen,
there was Jedi killers that looked awesome. Basically, oh goodness gracious, Sith. Oh, man.
Sith Marauders?
No. Inquisitors.
Oh, Inquisitors. Okay. Okay, and he did episode 5, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and episode 6, just in terms of stuff that
he did episode 6, okay.
Like Lucasfilms or with George Lucas.
Yeah.
Ultimately, with a big budget movie like this, the script that is originally penned is never the final version of what you get on screen.
Yeah.
Because there's so many cooks in the kitchen with these type of things, you end up getting kind of I'll say a toned down version of whatever the writer's original vision was, for better and worse. But yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's no shortage of debate and strong feelings about these movies.
Oh, 100%.
And we're going to be doing this again when episode 9 comes out.
In 18 months.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Right now I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, why are you nervous? Well, actually, let's talk about the future of Star Wars a little bit.
So we have. Let's put a bow on Solo for.
Actually, I do want to say one thing.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so remember the Marauder girl. And you know what? Here's the other thing about this movie. There's not really a whole lot of spoiler stuff to talk about. Because even though it moves at like a fast pace,
cameo.
not a whole lot happens except Darth Maul being thrown in there.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing to talk about in this movie. But otherwise, it's pretty bland.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I'd watch a sequel if they make one, but this movie is just, it's real average. But yeah, okay, so the Marauder girl who like takes off her helmet at the end, was I the only one?
Yeah.
Was I the only one
from Enfys Nest?
Yeah. Was I the only one who thought like that was going to be Woody Harrelson and Thandie Newton's daughter when she took off her helmet?
Wait, say it again.
Woody Harrelson and what are the characters' names? I don't even remember.
Oh,
I'm just gonna call them by the actors.
His wife that died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I didn't know who to expect.
I thought for sure it was gonna be their daughter.
I thought it was cool they threw in a Rhodian warrior.
Yeah,
that was
cool.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, Mini Greedo.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the voice of Jon Favreau with 4 arms?
I thought it was good.
I
thought it fit the character.
Okay, I didn't like him in this movie.
You didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was one of the things I didn't like. He was just too
one of the 10,000.
Yeah, one of the 10,000. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, we can kind of. I think. Yeah, Have we beat
this dead horse?
You know what? I'm sure that I could say more if I absolutely wanted to, but let's move on to talking about like upcoming Star Wars.
Upcoming Star Wars Episode 9. I am nervous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's a lot of turmoil in the world of Lucasfilm right now.
Seems that way.
And honestly, dude, they have made their own personal and business agendas. They've put those ahead of the actual story of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm worried. In that video we watched, that short clip, or that short documentary of sorts.
That rant.
That rant. It was totally right. They let a hipster director, Rian Johnson, completely change the lore of The Last Jedi. You said it yourself.
No.
You think it's a good movie with bad Star Wars elements.
Yeah, and I will still stick to that. I
totally agree.
Yeah, that is what I think.
So the holes that he has, that not just him, Kathleen Kennedy,
mm-hmm.
the rest of Lucasfilm have put this franchise in. Dude, I don't know what I don't know what JJ's gonna do with Episode 9.
Yeah, and
I honestly am genuinely worried for what we're going to be given.
And JJ, I don't feel, is a person who is very good at ending things or very good at surprises. JJ Abrams doesn't do anything interesting. And I know that sounds like a huge bash on JJ Abrams.
No,
it's not. I think that
what
he does really well. And what he does is get out the emotional nostalgia in people because he is a fan.
Yeah.
And he does that very well. That's why he was the perfect person to do The Force Awakens, even though The Force Awakens has its problems. I don't think that he's the right person to end it, though. I feel like I'd even want to see a Rian Johnson conclusion before I want to see a J.J. Abrams conclusion.
Gonna have another floating Leia on a planet.
Something real weird.
Holding 7 lightsabers with her mind.
Ooh, that would be real cool, though. Get a little bit of Kreia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to get from Episode 9, ultimately. But
they need to make it 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Why is it? We talked about this a long time ago. Why does it have to be a trilogy?
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
But you know it's going to be.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
These predictable peons are just... I'm at a loss, dude, because I'm at a loss for words, because Episode 9 could either just be the bow on a sandwich that looks good looking at the top of it, and then the meat and the bottom piece of bread are moldy.
Yeah, and I've kind of come up, I've thought about it. a little bit, and I came up with a definitive ranking of like these new Disney Star Wars movies.
Okay.
And basically what I think is at the top, I have to say it's the majority of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Then I think probably it's the first 30 minutes of The Force Awakens.
That's good. That's good.
Then I'll say currently it's a tie, Han Solo, Rogue One. I think maybe once I go back and revisit Solo, that could either go up, but
or down.
More than likely, I think it's going to go down.
down.
Because I think once I watch that movie again, I'm going to really see the cracks. And then after that, I'll say the remainder of The Force Awakens, when it just turns into A New Hope, but not as good. And then all the stupid stuff in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
At the bottom. And, you know, that's...
Some of the acting in The Last Jedi, too, is just so bad.
Oh, like what? Like what do you mean?
Rose? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
A reincarnated Jar Jar Binks.
I give her a break because I think that was more the character than
well, then why did they have the character?
They shouldn't have had the character.
Exactly.
I'll agree with that completely. I don't think that character should have been in the movie.
No sense.
I understand what they were trying to do by putting that character in the movie. She was very annoying.
Oh.
No, she was. I don't think that she was a good addition. I understand what they were trying to convey by having her in there. I don't think that it worked for me personally. But, yeah. It at this point, it kind of just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, though. Yeah, like you were talking about the sandwich that's good on top, bad in the middle.
And could be terrible on the end.
It could be real bad.
Honestly, what's a better comparison is like a loaf of bread. You don't know that the bottom three pieces or whatever are moldy. Just the top one looks good. You take it off, dig into this trilogy, this franchise a little bit more. Second one's like, oh, there's like a big blotch of mold like on the left third. And then episode 9 could almost be the next piece of bread that's like infested with mold and sprouts. Or it could be a clean piece of bread. I don't know what it's going to be.
See, and I feel
and that's
like...
honestly the stress that brings fans. You know, it's like, what if they ruin this? If they make one good movie out of 3, we're back at square one.
Yeah,
with the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, so far, you could make the argument that they have 2 good movies. You could make the argument that they have no good movies at this point.
Yeah,
and there's. I'm just talking about like the core Skywalker trilogy at this point. I'm excluding the anthology movies. You could make the argument that both Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are good. You could make the argument that both those movies are terrible.
You can make the argument that one's good, one's bad.
Yeah, you can make the argument one's good and one's bad. And you can flip between the two of them. You know, at this point,
it shouldn't be like that.
It
should be like the original trilogy. All 3 of them are good. But there's one that clearly stands out as the winner.
I think 2 of them are good, and one of them is good for 30 minutes. If I'm completely honest, 2 of them are good, and one of them's good for 30 minutes. That's and I know that I don't have a popular take on Return of the Jedi, but I don't care for a lot of that movie.
No, it's definitely it's the one that's not the best.
Yeah, it's the worst one. And I'll stick by it.
But none of them are dumpster fires.
No, none of them are dumpster fires.
Last Jedi is a dumpster fire. It is. To credit my little brother, he's said this multiple times. Everything that stands out in my mind about that movie is all the negative stuff.
See, I think maybe
I have no good memories of that movie.
I think I actually do have some good memories of that movie.
All I can think of is the stupid Holdo character, stupid Rose character, stupid Canto Bight.
I do think of Canto
being
Bight
a
quite
trigger
a bit.
happy like idiot.
I was absolutely fine with that. That way to take his character.
I mean, dude,
I think because for me, at least personally,
how about the First Order How about making out the First Order to be huge in The Force Awakens, and then it's tiny in The Last Jedi? Same thing with the Resistance goes.
The Resistance was very small. I do
Lord.
think that was a flaw.
Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I'll agree with that.
There's 30 people left
in
the Resistance right now.
If that.
30 people, if that. on the Falcon. That's it.
But ultimately, I think for me, like, the stuff that I remember about The Last Jedi is, like, when I'm really thinking about it, obviously there's bad stuff too, like Canto Bight that comes to mind. But I think, Luke's final sacrifice on Crate, which I do like. I do like that way of concluding the story for him. I think that was good. Holdo jumping the Star Destroyer, I still like that. I think of the fight with the Praetorian Guards. I think of, Let the Past Die. I think there's a lot of good stuff in that movie.
Only good part about everything you just said was the fighting the Praetorian Guards. That's it.
Really? Okay.
We talked about Luke's death.
Yeah, and that's just something that I think
visually
we have different opinions
Holdo ramming that ship was cool.
It looked real cool.
It did look cool.
It looked real cool.
It did look very cool.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I understand how people are like, "Oh, it breaks Star Wars lore." Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm sure that there's probably like some expanded universe
a cardinal
type
sin, dude.
It is. No, and that's why I say this movie was probably universe breaking, because it is. There's probably some expanded universe thing explaining why it was only possible in that situation, I'm sure. But, and that's the thing, is a lot of the stuff that I just mentioned, people can have problems with it, and you know what? That's fine. I get it. But, I think that when I think of The Last Jedi, I think that there was more stuff that worked for me in that movie versus things that didn't. Obviously Canto Bight didn't work. There were some others making the Resistance a little too small. That was not the best choice in my opinion. Maybe some other things too. The fact that Rey gets trained in 3 days, that's also a bit weird. But yeah.
Yeah. A lot is going on, everybody.
I think we even have some other Star Wars movies too. You want to just quickly address?
What do we have?
Because I just kind of want to quickly address, like, this is like the upcoming slate basically of Star Wars movies.
Okay.
We have 2019 we have Episode 9. 2020 we have that James Mangold Boba Fett movie.
When's Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm guessing like 21, probably 22. We have the Rian Johnson trilogy. And then we have that trilogy from the Game of Thrones showrunners and the Jon Favreau TV series. So that's the Star Wars we're getting.
So much content.
It's a lot.
That can be. You know what? That's our next episode.
I feel like it should be.
It's talking about the content they can deliver.
Yeah, and Alden Ehrenreich has 2 more movies left on his contract.
Oh, does he?
How are they going to use him?
They put 2 movies.
Probably in Boba Fett.
They put 3 movies on his contract.
I mean, I will also say this. They put 3 movies on the contracts of the people in Rogue One also. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything. They don't
just
have
so they
to
have rights
use
to the characters, basically?
Exactly. It's just so they can bring those people back if they want to and not pay them more.
Man, that is crazy. So much content to be delivered. Yeah. So you heard it here first, folks. Episode 9 of the Point of View podcast. We're going to be digging into... We're going to be doing a lot of homework. Going to be seeing what these directors can really do with the privileges they've been given from Lucasfilm, what they're going to develop. It's been real fun talking Solo today. This movie's surrounded by so much controversy, so much backlash, and love, hate, everything in between. Of course, here at the Point of View podcast, everything we tell you is true.
From a certain point of view.
Yes, from a certain point of view.
Now, I do have one request.
No.
No,
I'm not going to.
You're going to end it with the song,
No,
right?
I'm not. No, turn it off. No, why is it playing? I didn't want it to play. Oh my gosh. Who is doing that? Are you running a soundboard?
Oh, of course.
Come on, man.
So good.
Kill it. Okay, all right, it's gone. Okay. My name is Cade Lee.
What a banger.
This
is so much.
This is Jerrod Harkins signing off from the Point of View podcast.
Bye,
See you all
everybody.
soon. Bye-bye.